Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about why I know, I'm 99% sure that Russia is the good guys, and that Jews like the blonde hair, blue eye guys, let's say even a hacker who hacks Putin, he's a blonde hair, blue eye guy, he claims Putin's the bad guy. He's just a Nazi. He's actually just a Nazi. It's so obvious to see. He's got Nazi German DNA in him, and he's a Jew. Anyways, so let's talk about facts. So first off, in Israel, Hitler attacked Palestine. Hitler took over Palestine. Hitler is related to Jacob Rothschild. They call him Jacob Lord Rothschild. I think Lord is literally his middle name. These people are that crazy. Jacob Rothschild is related to Hitler. This is a fact. I researched online. Now, when I look it up now, they covered up it because it's one of those topics they're trying to hide, but it's still available out there. But you're more likely to find the posts that say it's a rumor. They'll say a popular rumor that could be true, because they don't even know. They don't know. There's no way to prove. There's a lot of research that was done. The people that found out were able to piece together puzzle pieces to figure out, to prove, yes, he was related to Hitler. And he formed Israel right after Hitler's fall. Actually, no. I believe Israel was, Jerusalem, they call it actually Jerusalem, not Israel. I'm sorry, no, Israel, not Jerusalem. That's the city. I don't know much about this fucking place. I just know they were taken over by Nazis. For some reason I thought it was Jerusalem because I think I read somewhere that they called, maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, I believe they formed Israel while Hitler was still attacking. One thing's for sure, all the photos of Jews being rounded up in concentration camps on Google, Hitler forced them all to wear the same coat and a Star of David badge on their coat. Now, maybe Hitler did that so that way we wouldn't lose track of them. When I say we, I mean white people. I'm not a Nazi. I'm just saying it like as if we're somehow all connected, but we're not. I shouldn't have said it like that. I apologize. Maybe in some racist Arab's mind that would make sense. But maybe he did that so that way he wouldn't lose track of them. Maybe he did that so... It's just not believable. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. Hitler wouldn't do that. Hitler's story is that they all wore the same coat and the same Star of David. That was just their regular clothing, and the Nazis gave them time to put on clothing before they were forced out of their homes. Imagine somebody kicking open your door with an automatic rifle and saying, "You gotta come with me, I'll give you 10 minutes to change." Gives them 10 minutes to walk into the room, get butt naked, and put on clothing. I don't think the Nazis would do that. 10 minutes for every home. How long do you think that would take? The Nazis didn't do that at all. Matter of fact, the Nazis didn't even send a lot of people to camps. Most of them were killed. If you look up what happened in Old Jaffa, Old Jaffa was a genocide. Where is Old Jaffa? I think it's in Israel. I'm pretty sure it's up here in Tel Aviv. Yeah, here it is. Old Jaffa, right here. This was a genocide. They blew up tons of buildings here. They killed tons of people here. Millions of people died in Old Jaffa. That's how Hitler did it. He came in and was killing Palestinians. There's a video of Hitler laughing when, I think it was Theodore Roosevelt told him, don't attack Palestine. And he laughed about it, and he was like, we're going to attack Palestine, and Egypt, and this place, and that place. He was freaking out, like a psychopath on meth, because he's so evil. His reptilian part in his brain is so large that it just made him psychotic. And there was a few Muslims here, so he justified it. He was like, they're Muslim animals, so I could kill them all. Now, as bad as Muslims are, as bad as they are, what he did here was still wrong. It could have been done a lot different. It would have taken longer. Somebody maybe would have stopped him way sooner, but he would have went down as a more of a moral, ethical leader. If he was to come here and police instead of kill, rebuild instead of destroy buildings, he would have been known as a good leader for Palestine. He would have been like the Roman emperor for Palestine. And people here would have loved him. For an example, I'm from a Catholic Lebanese family. Some of us hate Islam. Some of us wouldn't care if some Jew came over and conquered us all and got rid of these terrorists, Muslims. We wouldn't care at all. They could rule us like one of the blue-eyed Roman leaders ruled over Italians and Spanish and Arabs for thousands of years. And no one ever complained about them. But he saw it differently. He thought they all have to be exterminated because they're roaches. They're like roaches, Muslims. They overpopulate too fast, and they take over places like Germany, and it's difficult to police them. You have to round them all up into camps, and then either way, they're going to force you to kill at least a few of them. Because they're so violent. They're so evil that even if you put them in a concrete cell, all alone, they're never going to change. They'll die in that cell, and it'll practically be a genocide just like that alone. I mean, people will call it that. All the Muslims will cry and say, oh, you enslaved him his whole life. So what? No medicine would work on him. Beating over his head wouldn't work. Fluoride didn't work. Gassing him didn't work. What are we supposed to do? To teach these scumbag terrorists a lesson? Anyways, back on point. So, whether Hitler was right about attacking Islam or not, and even if he was right about attacking commies, it doesn't change the fact that Ukraine is what they are. When Putin said Ukraine is a Jewish Nazi state, he wasn't lying. When Putin said, I don't think he said this. I thought this. I said it. This is probably something Putin might have said though, off camera, that Ukraine was taken by the Nazis during World War II. It is a breakaway state. It is a traitorous breakaway state. And that's just like a fact. I don't know this for sure because I don't have a million historian buffs I could hire. I'm not like Putin. I can't hire scientists and archaeologists and all these people to put a conclusion together to see exactly what date it was and how they do it, and did they just bomb homes? Did they poison people? Did they gas the air? Because, they got chemtrails. They could just gas the whole sky. And the whole city will be dumbed down. Slowly. So slow that we can't even put a gas mask on because we don't know what's going on. It's different when it's like a big plume of smoke, like the Canadian wildfires. You see it. You see it coming. You can put your gas mask on if it gets too dark. But some of these chemicals they could spray on your people, you don't see it coming. And that's what the Nazis would use. Fluoride, Zyklon B, all these different chemicals. And they would gas Russians and Palestinians and Americans. We're all alike. We're all in the same boat together. This is why we should support Putin. Even if Putin is an emperor and is going to want to expand his empire, maybe all the way to Germany. And that's scary, because that's a lot of land. And what's next? It makes you think maybe Scotland or Italy. Those are places we don't want him to go. Ireland, please stay out of there. Those are our people's land. We could form democracies there. We could be good people and not Nazis. And we could work with the commies. We could work with them. They're not that bad. They're actually pretty decent people. They're very strict. They're very, very authoritarian, but they can be good people too. Just because they're strict and authoritarian doesn't mean they deserve their land stolen from them. At all. Now, for all I know, all of this I'm saying could cause nuclear war. I don't know, because I'm not Trump. I can't predict what will happen if we help Putin. Will he backstab us? I can't predict that. I do know one thing. He's going to want to go all the way to Germany. At least in Poland. At least all the way to Germany. He might want to take over Germany because they're all Jews here too. And China's so big, and China's taken over too, like Taiwan. They might want to work together. And even if America tries to tag along and work with them, they might not respect us because we're not communist. So I don't know how it works. Let's say if Trump was to give them a deal, we'll help you with Ukraine, you help us with the terrorists, and we're taking over Mexico. I don't know if Putin would really help us all the way. They would, let's say, they get to take Ukraine and Poland and Slovakia. Because Slovakia is horrible. They got slaves in subway tunnels getting raped 24/7. Sex slaves. And it's evil. It's evil. The things that... You could look it up online right now. It's not called sex slave. They're called brothel, underground tunnel brothel. Tunnel brothels. And they're subway tunnels. This is where people used to transit. Probably in Prague. That's probably where most of them are, in Prague. They probably have a lot of abandoned tunnels here, so that's how they do it. Prague probably don't even know that they have abandoned tunnels. Like how Cincinnati, Ohio, they don't even know they have abandoned tunnels there. But anyways, Putin could take this land. I wouldn't give a shit. Belarus, Ukraine, Poland, Slovakia, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. He could have all of it. He could have all of that. I wouldn't care at all. And Germany. That's where I'd want him to stop, though. And Austria. Austria, too. I almost forgot Austria. That's where Hitler comes from. Maybe even Slovakia. And maybe even Bosnia. Because they're already Slavic people there. So they come from Russia. Let's be honest. Russia is the oldest Slavic language in the world. Guaranteed, I bet. So it's very believable. All these new Slavic languages are just breakaway states. It's kind of like if I made my own language and it was kind of like English. And then me and all New Yorkers, I live in Mississippi now. I'm so used to saying it like I still live there. Let's say me and all Mississippiers just break away and annex. It wouldn't make sense. We'd start speaking some funny language. We'd have new words, but it'd be English still. Like, it'd be English language, you know. Maybe new letters, but it would all be kind of the same. Some of the words would be exactly the same. When you compare Bosnian or Ukraine to Russian, some of their words are actually exactly the same. They pronounce it the same and even spell it the same, some of these words. So, if Russia was to take all this land, I wouldn't care at all. Now, you might say, who the hell am I to care, to have any opinion at all? Anyways, I'll say it like this. I'm a regular American who's afraid of nuclear war. And when approaching communists come in and take land, it is scary. It is terrifying. But this land is different. East Europe is different. Remind you, Russians are Europeaners. They are Europeaners. They're like one of us already. So if they take over and make it a big, giant, mega superpower, it's not that scary. For an American, it is more scary, because for an American, let's compare, let's say somebody in Czechoslovakia, they might not be as scared. They don't care who runs them. They're a small country anyways. But in America, it's scary, because in America, it's a lot different. And the main reason it's different in America is because the U.S. dollar controls the world. The Jewish what the hell just happened? It's glitching out. I don't know what the hell's going on. The Jewish bankers who own America, they control the world. How this shit is glitching out and lagging so fucking hard. There I am. Now I'm back where I'm supposed to be. I don't know why I was up there. That's weird as hell. I'm definitely getting hacked. My dating app is hacked. I'm definitely getting hacked. Anyways, the reason why it's so scary for us is because Putin has nukes, and Putin can control the world, and we don't want somebody else to control the world. We want to control the world. So it is scary for us. But for these countries, it's not as scary, depending on how Putin does it. That's the scary part. Putin does it very aggressively. He comes into these cities, and he'll completely destroy the place. And you'll see destroyed homes all over. Where's a good example of this? Right here, I think, yeah. You'll see destroyed homes all over. And you can clearly see Putin's tanks came through here. There's a bunch of trails in the middle of the woods. They cut down trees and just make their own trail, because they want to come in secretly as quick as possible. So right now there might be tanks, let's say, stationed somewhere in a garage, somewhere in this town, right? Just for an example. And they're threatening the city. If you don't listen to us, we're going to completely destroy this city. And this city is at risk. There's a lot of people living here. Now, a lot of people want to leave this city because they're afraid. Because what Putin can do, I mean, look what what he did to this building. I mean, Putin can just absolutely destroy buildings and without killing anybody. Maybe injured a few people here. As a warning, to show them, look, we're in your country. We're literally stationed right outside of this city. We want you to listen to us or you're going to pay. Now, that's one of the ways he could do it. Another way he could do it is just ride the tanks right into the city. Right in. And kill every cop. And anybody who resists. And tell them, now, we're the new cops, here's the new law. And the new law is, accept communism, let them come in and rebuild the pipeline. And man, would they be upset when they find out it's all about a pipeline. Like, are you kidding me? They're greedy! But who's the real greedy ones? The ones that let their own people die because they refuse to build a pipeline. On Russian land. That was once Russian land. This is like sacred, holy Native American burial sites. And it's been conquered and taken over by the British. And now the British are telling them, you can't rebuild your pipeline here. It's pretty messed up, actually. I'd be pretty upset, too. Now, gas is leaking all over their land. Our land. Well, if I was Russian, I'd be looking at it like that. I'm looking at it like, right now, as if I was Russian. All over their land. It's going to be leaking. And these Jews laugh about it. Now, I saw a video, you could probably still find these videos on YouTube, of Jews dancing after... What the hell? What the fuck? Why did it just do that? So weird. Anyways, you can find videos on YouTube. What the fuck? Why is it doing this? You could find videos on YouTube of Jews dancing in Ukraine after Hitler destroyed a whole city. Oh, maybe that's why I did. I put Jews by mistake. I didn't put synagogue, I think. I think I remember putting Jews in. That's funny. That's still weird, though. It sent me to my state. It's like, oh, you're looking for Jews? Why don't you look in your own state? We're scared. Don't come here. Because they know Putin will let me right in. I could be a soldier right now. Probably. I don't know. Maybe not, actually. Probably end up in Gulag. But I could work for them. I could. So, there are synagogues stationed in every city and town in Ukraine. It's not a coincidence. Look at this small town. It's got one big synagogue. See what it looks like. Proof it's a synagogue right there. It looks like this building used to be a Russian building. Tartarian, maybe Roman building. And these motherfuckers turned it into a synagogue. So what else can I say? What else can I say? I mean, I said the most important parts, I think. Hitler attacked Russia. He went to Ukraine. I'm pretty sure I looked this up. Hitler did go to Ukraine. Pretty sure I looked this up already. I'd look it up right now, but it's not even worth it. All this stuff you can search up yourself. I suggest everybody do their own research and believe their own side, because you might find something I didn't know about. You could maybe find something that changes everything. Now, I doubt that. The Russians are completely innocent here. The Russians are trying to build their empire. Keep their empire. Better to say they're trying to keep their empire. And they got these people coming in, taking over their land, drone striking them, refusing to rebuild pipelines. What else? They attacked Moscow. I mean, this isn't a defense war. This is a different kind of war. I don't know exactly what I do. This is like a proxy war with America versus, or not America, I'm sorry, Germany, Nazi Germany versus Russia. That's what it seems like. And the Nazi Jews control America and control all these other countries that are helping. 100%. When you look up who the people are who own BlackRock Corporation, and when you look up who they're related to, they're all Jews. All of them. And they own America. And they're actually related to Russians, too. A lot of these people are related. This is like a civil war. This is like the biggest civil war the world has ever seen right here. That's what it is. It's just a civil war. Sure, it could get nuclear, it could destroy the planet, but I don't think that's where it's headed. I don't think Putin would want to do that to his own people. If he has to, he would, but I don't think he's going to have to. And I think the Ukrainians' morale is very low, no matter how many drone strikes they have. I think their morale is super low, and they're not going to last long. They're not. Because they're going up against a much bigger state that has nuclear arms. And it doesn't matter if another state with nuclear arms is defending them. We can't nuke Russia. They're on the other side of the planet. Our ballistic missiles might not even be able to reach over there. I don't know. I wouldn't know that. They probably wouldn't even tell us that. Who knows? So how are we going to defend them in a nuclear war? We can't. I mean, sure, we could fly over maybe with the big B-2 bomber, drop a nuke on Moscow. But the thing is, that would take so long for us to get there. It could get shot out of the sky. And either way, we're so far away, their morale should be a little lower. It definitely should be a little lower. But it seems like it's not. It seems like their morale is 10 times higher than the Russians. And I believe that has something to do with how Russia fights. First, Russia sends its worst of its worst people. They're not going to send their favorite, most prestigious men. They're going to send literal gulag prisoners. That's who they send first, using old Soviet war technology. The new weapons, they're waiting for it. They'll release it soon. When they start coming in with brand new tanks, it'll be a whole different war. A whole different war. But right now, they're sending their worst of their worst. They're giving these people an opportunity to be a hero for Russia, to change their names, to change their reputations, because they have horrible reputations. They were enslaved in a gulag camp because they did something wrong. Now they have the chance to fight for Putin and change their reputation. So they come here and they get drone striked in a field somewhere, trying to raid some base, some military base that might not even be registered on Google Maps. We don't know. I mean, that's the type of thing that could be happening. Right here in this one city right here that I'm looking at. They'll come in from the north or from the water, and they'll run through the field, hoping they won't get spotted, and they get bombed by a drone. And what else can I say about these people? They certainly are Nazis. Certainly. I'm not saying all of them are, but I'm saying if you once were, you still are. Type of thing. So it's kind of like how we let a bunch of Nazis in America. You could say America's a Nazi state too. They were our scientists. They convinced us to start using fluoride. They were convincing us to spread chemtrails. Now we're pretty much a Nazi state. Now, 90% of us might hate Nazis. It might be good people. Some of us might even be related to Putin himself. So when Putin comes and tries to take over, if that ever was to be possible someday, which I doubt it would, he would never come here. He has no interest in it. It's not his land. He sold us Alaska. Not him, but his people sold us Alaska. There is no beef there that I know of. It was such a long time ago. Even if there was beef, if we're two superpowers, it might not be worth to destroy the planet. But he wants Ukraine. And Ukraine is a Nazi state. And Ukraine probably poisons a lot of people too. Their own people. Their own people. It makes you wonder, what do they put in their tap water? What do Ukrainians put in their tap water? I bet they'll cover that up instantly. That is a super, super top secure, highly secure information right there. They'd say. They don't want anyone knowing that one. Because the minute you find out, they got fluoride in their water too. They're a Nazi state. They're poisoning their own people because their own people aren't supporting the Nazis. Not everybody goes to synagogue and talks about the poison in the water and how they need to drink well water instead. Because that's what they'll do in a synagogue. They'll give each other secrets to help each other grow. They'll be like, this is the company you want to invest in as the stock market. It's just now about to take off. Put your money in now. They'll tell every Jew that, and then they'll say, don't tell anybody, any Gentile. No Gentiles. And they won't let any Gentiles know. That's how the Jews operate. They're literal Nazi mobsters. Literally. Mobsters. And Nazis. And they come into our city to destroy it, to take over, and kill us all. Because we're Gentiles. They even tell us, don't become Jewish. They'll tell you, don't be a Jew. Because they don't want you to be a Jew. Because that makes it a little bit more difficult for them to kill you. It's kind of like if a Jew was to become a German Nazi. Which I know that's actually a bad example, because all Nazis were Jews. Every German Nazi was a Jew. Or they were convinced into thinking that they were attacking the Jews when they were actually attacking the Muslims. They didn't even know. Maybe. I don't know. A better example would be like, if a Muslim, let's say if an ISIS member was to come to America and try to become an American, it'd be a little bit more difficult for us to attack them. Well, anyways, I forget what I was getting at. I got a short attention span, but let me try to go on and think of other topics involving the Nazi government that controls us all and is destroying the world. No matter what happens, they're destroying the world. So... What else can I say about these Jewish Nazis? Oh yeah, there was a video I just saw online on bestscore.fun. Two Russians were injured. One Russian was injured in battle, and he was trying to help the other Russian stop the bleeding from his leg. And a Ukrainian drone captured it and saw it on video and came over and killed them. And they posted the video online and titled it as Russians giving each other blowjobs get blown up by Ukrainian drone. And you could tell that's not what happened there. And the video almost looks like AI deepfake video, so it makes me wonder if that even happened at all. But either way, it's so wrong. It's so wrong, it's evil to accuse some man of being gay when they're fighting for their country against Nazis. That is wrong. That is immature. That is, that's just immoral, unethical. But that's what Nazis are. They're the definition of evil. They drink blood. They came up with adrenochrome. They kidnap kids and bring them to Epstein Island, and they put the fluoride in our water, and they spray the chemtrails, and they'll nuke our city and say it was the Russians. They're thinking about that. They're planning on that one, actually. They're thinking about that. They'll blame it on the Russians. Russia wouldn't do that. Russia's trying to police us all. Russia's trying to help us. Putin is the good guy. Putin told us about chemtrails a long time ago. For those of you who remember, or those that don't remember, you'd either know or not know, and you probably won't be able to look it up. Actually, So another topic, they hide, the Jewish elite, scumbag terrorists, hide stuff all the time. I believe they even did the Twin Towers. There were tunnels underneath the Twin Towers, and there were Jewish people that lived in the building. And all the Jews, they took the day off. Silverstein, Larry Silverstein actually took the day off right before the Twin Towers attack happened. Larry Silverstein owns the Twin Towers. He worked in those buildings. He should be dead right now too. But he's not, because he took the day off. He went on vacation before the attacks happened. They call him the luckiest man in the world. Because not only did he escape death, but he also made a ton of money off of insurance for the building afterwards. So, it's very believable. They did this all because they want to take over Israel. They want to get rid of Islam, and they want to replace it with Judaism. Judaism is a better cult. It is. It definitely is. People should admit that. Let's be non-biased. Let's be non-biased and just admit the facts here. Judaism is better than Islam. Plain and simple. They treat their women better. They treat non-believers better. For example, there's Reformed Jews. In our society, there can't be Reformed Muslims, though. That's impossible. I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about overseas, in their country. But in Germany, actually, I didn't even look this up. Let's see, Reformed Jews, there's probably tons of them. So they're not the most evil people around. And there are a lot of Jewish Russians, too. And the Russians just want their land back. They don't want to kill all Jews. So that's why this is a proxy war we don't want to get into. It's basically like when two bullies fight. Oh, I'm sorry, I put Reformed Jews again. Reform Synagogue. I'm a little slow. New synagogue. They got a new synagogue. What's new synagogue mean? Is that Reform? Probably. Let's see how they dress. No beards. No beards at all. See that? See that? They don't force anybody to wear the beard. Now, are Orthodox Nazis going to attack this synagogue? Because they don't wear beards and they're like the best Gentiles around because they pretend to be normal Jews but they're not. What the hell's up with that girl's stare? She looks like she got beaten by her father bad. Sometimes they're child predators and they do certain things to kids to make them forget what happened to them, to take away all their memories. That's actually a common thing abusers do, just to take away memories, just to take away a child's memory. Because they're sickos and who knows what they did. They could have sold their son to their friends, for an example, for a bag of crack. And they didn't want their son to remember, and that's why he gets hit. Because every time he says something that sounds like he remembers again, they hit him. Let's see, just synagogue in general in Germany. How strict are these people, I wonder? Offenbach. That sounds like Orthodox. They're not taking photos, so we don't know if they got beards or not. But that one, the new synagogue, that they don't. What the fuck is? Why does it keep doing that? This new synagogue, the new synagogues, they are different. Definitely, they don't have beards. Them Jews don't have beards. Is that a mosque? Jesus. So even a Nazi state, it's still classified as a Nazi state. When I looked it up last, it said, yes, Germany is still a Nazi state. Even a Nazi state, like the Jewish Germans have mosques inside their country. Right here. It's only one. But I've seen a lot of videos of Muslims coming to Germany and beating people up and destroying things and looting and... I never see Jews do that. You notice that? You never see Jews do that. Ever. Now, Jews might sell drugs, too, to get their extra women. But it's nothing. It's nothing like these guys do it. These guys, when they get caught in their corner store, they have every drug known to man. And there's a lot of it. It's not just enough for a few girls. There's enough for a few 100,000 people to be killed on the drug. That's how much they have. It almost makes you wonder, like, are they trying to break into a water treatment plant and poison us all? Or what were they planning on? Why would they need that much fentanyl? It's back on topic. So, the Ukrainians are indeed Nazis. Whether they know it or not, they are. Can you imagine, even the leader himself, Vladimir, don't even know it. Or doesn't even care. That most people live in there, or better to say, the powerful elite live in there are all Nazis. The people in charge in Ukraine are Nazis. The majority of them might be good people, actually. The majority of them might just be Russian, even, too. They might not even speak Ukrainian. And they're unsure of what's going on. And they're probably scared of their leadership. Because their leadership still hasn't cleaned up Chernobyl. This was their fault. You could say all you want, some Russian spy did this. I think I even saw a video somewhere that said, there were Russians working in the treatment plants, the nuclear radiation plants. I find that to be a lie. I think that's just propaganda. So that way, everyone instantly thinks, it could have been the Russians who did it. Because they want us all to be upset at Russia, not them. They made a huge mistake. They poisoned their own people. They had to literally evacuate an entire city. This was a giant city at one time. This was a really, really big city. They had to evacuate it all. All their homes are rotten. All their buildings are rotten. And what do they do to clean it up? This place still exists. Look how big this building is. Are they trying to scrap any of this? I'm not a nuclear radiation expert. I don't know how to clean up nuclear radiation. For all I know, inside this one building could be way worse than outside. And if you try to tear down the building, it can make the environment more sick. But from my opinion, from my perspective, it seems that if they get rid of all of this infrastructure, this area would actually be cleaner. There'd be less squatters here. There would be less drugs and violence and gang violence, and the nuclear radiation would start to dissipate more and more and more. Because the way it works is, when you clean up an area after nuclear radiation destroys the place, you get a nuclear radiation meter, so that way you could detect the nuclear radiation. And you find, okay, this field right here has a bunch of nuclear radiation in it. So what do? You get bulldozers, you dig up the land, you dig a big hole right here, and you put the fucking dirt in the hole, and then you cover it up. But the Ukrainians are lazy, good-for-nothing, scumbag, Nazi, Jewish animals. They want the whole planet to rot. This was actually done to poison Russians. They did this to poison Russians. Even though it's all the way in the middle of Ukraine, that was actually a disguise. They do it in the middle of Ukraine so that way the Russians don't realize that it was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. They did this to kill Russians. There was a giant plume of radioactive smoke over Moscow because of this. And they knew it. They knew that was going to happen. That's why they let the place blow up. That's why they don't clean it up. They could have cleaned that up a long time. They could clean that up now while they're under attack and still defend themselves. But they won't. They'll never clean this up. They'll never clean this up. They don't want to clean this up. They want to blame Russia for this, even though they killed Russians with this. What else can I say about Ukraine? Now, the only Slavic person I've ever met, besides for Bosnians, was a Ukrainian, and he called himself a Russian mobster. So, all the Russian mafia is in Ukraine. All of it. That's where the majority of the crime is. From my perspective, in my opinion. I can't say this is a fact. I'm no world leader. I'm not Putin. I can't fact check these facts with 100,000 men. So there's no way for me to know for sure. Is this where most Russian crime comes from? Probably. It probably is. Russians who are criminal. This is something you might not want to tell any Russians either, because they'll all start flooding here. The criminal ones, their best bet is in Ukraine. That's where their best bet is. That's why they flock there like geese. And that's why there's so many of them. The majority of them probably live in this country, not in Russia. And they call themselves Russian mobsters. That's a scary fact. That's kind of scary, actually. Because these people are like ISIS cartel terrorists. They'll behead people too. And I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, Russian mafia music. They kidnap women and stuff. Now, this could just be actors acting, but it doesn't matter. They're portraying what actually happens. This is something a minority group that calls themselves mafia can actually do, and probably has actually done many times in our history. Any random people that just wake up one day and are like, I want to be Russian mafia. They start calling themselves that. Now, I'm pretty sure it's way more organized than that. I'm pretty sure there's way more of them. It's so bad that even Putin's probably afraid of them. Because these people can come to Moscow anytime and kill him. Because there's probably so many of them. They all have AK-47s. They are their own army, and they are unpredictable. Unlike a state-sponsored country is more predictable, these guys don't have any infrastructure like a state-sponsored army does. This army is completely a loose collective like Anonymous is. They probably have hackers too. That's terrifying. That is terrifying. I'd be crying thinking about how am I going to get rid of these people if I was Putin. I'd be so pissed, I'd be screaming and crying. Flipping over tables. Screaming, I don't want that in my country! Because these people are like literal ISIS terrorists. They know how to speak Russian, they are Russian, they blend right into the crowd. It's almost impossible to spot them. And you know what? I think I said it all. I gotta take a shower. I'm getting bored, and I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna end it on that. I hope this helps somebody realize right versus wrong. And also, still know, you know, we don't want... I'm not calling for Putin to take over the whole world. You know, I'm just saying that his problem is a serious problem. And I really do wish him luck. Without it interfering with my country and my rights and my freedom, I really hope him the best of luck, honestly. And honestly, I'm praying he gets to nuke at least one city on satellite video, if they're that bad. Like, when you push all the terrorists out of area, they all flood to a new area. So let's say he pushes all of these terrorists out, they all go to one city. He could prove maybe this whole city is full of terrorists. They're raping Russian women, they're beheading them, they're just bad people. The 5-10 people that are good people there, it's sad, but they could go too. Maybe I sound bad. Maybe I sound like a bad guy for saying this, but if 90% of them are evil terrorists, it might be easier to nuke the city. And I would love to see what happens to a city when it gets nuked. Now, maybe even a better, you know what would be even better? If he wanted to drop a nuke on a city, but first he just police the town, get everyone out first, and then nuke it. That'd be pretty cool. I'd love to see what would happen. Does the whole city, like, what happens to the buildings, and what... I would like to see what it looks like afterwards, and, you know, what do the roads look like? This could actually be good for research purposes, so that way we know what happens. We could force everybody out first. Make sure there's not even one bum left, or one dog, or one cat. And then just nuke the fucking city. No one can complain. I'd feel bad for the fish. I'm a fish guy, but we kill fish all the time. So, I mean, if we get all the people out of the city, we technically, hypothetically, could nuke it. We just... The problem is we got to ask other nuclear superpowers what they would want to do in response. How would they handle it? Would they want to nuke us back? Would they nuke us back? If we were to nuke the city, say, for an example. Because even if you take all the people out of it, it's still nuclear radiation in the sky and on the land. And it can mix in with the rest of the world. And it could cause problems. But a nuclear test is a nuclear test, and if it's on your land, it's on your land. So I don't know how that works. I do know it would be hilarious. I think it would be awesome to see. It would really lower the Ukrainians' morale greatly. They would be very sad. Maybe it would actually raise their morale. I don't know, because it would look so evil. And they'd maybe be so upset about it. I don't know. I know one thing, it'd be funny. It'd be cool to watch. It'd be really, really cool to watch. It'd be scary to watch, too. It'd be like watching a video about Satan, like an actual video of God sending Satan to hell or something like that. That'd be kind of scary to watch. Or a better example would be like, it'd be like watching a video of your dead grandfather haunting your cousins. That would be scary. I'd be like, man, I better watch what I say, because he might be listening. That would be scary. It's something that can haunt you, but it didn't. You see it happen to somebody else. That'd be scary. It'd be a good message to the world, maybe, to show us that war is not worth it. There's better ways to handle it all. Because this is not how we want any of our cities to end up. Because it's scary, it's painful, we'll suffer to death. No one wants to suffer to death. The hell? Anyways. I'm going to end it on that. Thank you for listening. If you watch this all, if you're a Ukrainian supporter, I apologize to you. I know this is very sad. I know it seems wrong. I know you might be Jewish too, and you might love Nazis. But remember, you know, Russia's related to you guys. Matter of fact, I think Judaism came from Russia. You guys are like cousins. This is wrong. It's wrong to fight this war, regardless of who's right or wrong. And I think we all need to agree about that. It's definitely wrong, and we don't want it to escalate further. Even though it probably will, but we definitely don't want it to get nuclear. It probably won't do that. It probably, thankfully, we have enough morals and values and family that we care about and land that we love that we wouldn't want to see nuclear war. We wouldn't want to see that. We do. I mean, we probably do want to see some nukes getting dropped, but not in a war like, not in like a warlike manner. It'd be more of something like I said, a test. Just one test done on a abandoned city in Ukraine. Just to show the world just how upset they are that they had to wipe out all the infrastructure after enslaving all the people for a few months. Anyways, I'm going to end it.